The relentless howl of the Ilum storm outside was a constant reminder of the unforgiving world they had dared to explore. Inside the command tent, a fragile sanctuary amidst the frozen wasteland, Dr. Ilara Voss sat hunched over a small, worn journal. The faint glow of a flickering lantern cast dancing shadows on her weather-beaten face, etching every line of fatigue and resolve. Her fingers traced the familiar script penned years ago by her mentor, a man whose guidance had shaped her into the scientist and leader she had become. Patience, the page whispered, and courage in equal measure. The words echoed in Elara's mind, intertwining with the steady thrum of her heartbeat. Outside, the crystalline ice forests shimmered faintly beneath the fractured moonlight, their eerie luminescence a stark contrast to the chaos that had engulfed their mission. The ruins lay ahead, vast, ancient, and riddled with threats, both seen and unseen. Ilara leaned back, closing her eyes as memories flooded her consciousness. She saw her mentor's weathered face, stern yet kind, eyes gleaming with quiet wisdom. He had taught her to read the silence between data points, to feel the pulse of history beneath the layers of stone and ice. Now, confronted with the enigma of Ilum, those lessons were more vital than ever. A sudden tremor shook the ground beneath the camp, the tent walls quivering as dust and shards of ice cascaded from the ceiling. Ilara's eyes snapped open, her grip tightening on the edge of the metallic table. The storm's fury was growing, but it was something else, a deeper, more primal force stirring within the ruins. The Ilum enigma was awakening, its crystalline forms pulsing with shifting light, as if alive. The voices of her team echoed faintly beyond the tent's insulated walls. Captain Kessler's measured commands, Mira's restless tinkering, Jonas's cautious assessments. Ilara knew the fractures within their group had widened under pressure, trust eroding like the melting ice. But in this moment of solitude, she found a wellspring of strength, drawn from the mentor's enduring presence in her heart. Rising, Ilara gathered the team around the holographic map that hovered above the central console. The flickering blue contours of the ruins cast a ghostly glow on their tired faces. She spoke with a steady voice, infused with the passion and clarity that only true conviction could inspire. "We stand at a crossroads," she began, "not just of survival, but of understanding. My mentor used to say that knowledge without patience is a blade that cuts both wielder and foe. We have the tools, the skills, and the will to face what lies ahead. But we must act as one, deliberate, united." Captain Kessler nodded, the scar on his cheek tightening as he absorbed her words. Mira's eyes sparkled with cautious hope, while Jonas adjusted his glasses, the lines of worry softening. Together, they charted a course through the labyrinthine ice tunnels, planning every step with care. Ilara's mind raced with strategies, recalling the mentor's lessons on balancing intellect with intuition, science with humanity. The ruins were no longer just a mystery. They were a tester crucible in which their resolve would be forged or shattered. As night deepened, Ilara stepped outside, the icy wind biting through her layers. The crystalline forest stretched before her, an endless sea of glittering spires and shadows. She gazed into the abyss, the cold air sharp against her skin, and felt the weight of countless generations whispering through the frozen silence. Her mentor's voice lingered, a beacon in the darkness. "Lead with your mind, but never forget the strength of your heart." With a deep breath, Ilara squared her shoulders and turned back toward the camp. The path ahead was perilous, but now, illuminated by the echoes of wisdom and the fire of renewed purpose, she was ready to face the unknown. For the team, for the mission, and for the legacy of those who had come before, she would not falter. The storm outside raged on, but inside, a fragile hope took root, a promise that even in the bleakest of frontiers, the human spirit could endure and illuminate the darkest mysteries. And as the first light of dawn began to fracture the endless night, Ilara knew the true journey was only just beginning. The chamber's crystalline walls shimmered faintly under the pale light of their headlamps, casting fractured reflections that danced like restless spirits. Dr. Ilara Voss stood at the center, her breath shallow but steady, eyes locked onto the alien inscriptions that crawled across the surfaces like living script. The patterns pulsed with an eerie rhythm, shifting sensuously as if responding to her presence. Around her, the air was thick with a cold so profound it seemed to seep into the bones. Captain Rion Kessler maintained his unwavering vigil at the chamber's entrance, muscles taut beneath his heavy thermal gear, eyes scanning every shadow for signs of movement. The faint hum of ancient machinery thrummed through the floor, a low vibration that resonated deep within the chamber's crystalline heart. Mira Thalan crouched beside a strange device embedded in the ice, an alien contraption of unknown origin and impossible complexity. Her fingers danced over controls that seemed designed to defy human logic, sparks occasionally leaping as she wrestled with its unstable energy. The faint crackle of electricity mingled with the silence, underscoring the fragile balance between discovery and disaster. Ilara's voice broke the silence, her tone a mixture of fascination and foreboding. These inscriptions, they're not just records, they're warnings. Kessler's eyes narrowed. Warnings about what? She gestured to the flowing symbols. The Ilum Enigma is more than just a defense system. It's a containment mechanism. The ruins were designed to imprison something in immense force that this civilization unleashed upon itself. A chill ran through the team, heavier than the planet's biting cold. Jonas Reeve adjusted his glasses, stepping closer to examine the inscriptions. Containment, like a prison. Ilara nodded grimly. Yes, the civilization's hubris led them to tamper with powers they couldn't control. This structure is their last bastion of vault to hold back the catastrophe. Lena Ortiz's fingers flew over her communication console, trying to steady the intermittent link with their ship. If we keep disturbing the ruins, we might trigger more than just automated defenses. We could unleash whatever is trapped here. Suddenly, the crystalline walls flickered, light bending and twisting as if the chamber itself was breathing. The Ilum Enigma's presence grew palpably, shifting mass of refracted light and jagged crystal, never fully seen but deeply felt. The air hummed with rising tension. We need to move carefully, Kessler warned, drawing his weapon as the crystalline shards embedded in the floor began to pulse with dangerous energy. Mira's hands trembled slightly, but her voice held firm. If I can stabilize this device, maybe we can interface with the Enigma, understand its parameters, and possibly deactivate the more hostile defenses. Ilara placed a steadying hand on Myra's shoulder. Do it. We have no other choice. As Myra worked, the Enigma reacted. Crystalline shards lifted from the ground, spinning in the air with lethal grace. Their edges caught the dim light, creating a deadly dance of light and shadow. The team retreated cautiously, their breaths shallow in the freezing air. The chamber vibrated, a deep thrumming that echoed the pounding of their hearts. Then, in a sudden surge, a blinding light flooded the space, forcing them to shield their eyes. When the glare subsided, the ruin's secrets lay partially unveiled, ancient consoles glowing with enigmatic energy, corridors leading deeper into the frozen vault. But the danger was far from over. The Ilum Enigma's full defensive posture was now active, its protective mechanisms more aggressive and unpredictable. The team faced a choice: retreat with what knowledge they had, or risk everything to unlock the civilization's final message. Ilara's mind raced, haunted by memories of her lost mentor and the sacrifices made to reach this point. The weight of responsibility pressed down on her, blending with the exhilaration of discovery and the terror of the unknown. "We're standing on the precipice of history," she murmured. "But the question remains, can we survive the reckoning?" The chamber seemed to pulse in response, a silent challenge echoing across the frozen planet of Ilum. As the team prepared for what lay ahead, the ancient ruins whispered their warnings etched in crystal, light, and shadow testaments to a civilization's rise and fall, and the perilous legacy left behind for those daring enough to seek it. The reckoning had begun. The icy command center was suffused with a tense, oppressive silence, broken only by the faint hum of the life support systems and the occasional crackle of static over the comm lines. Frost clung to the edges of consoles, and the breath of each team member hung visibly in the frigid air, a stark reminder of the relentless cold outside the fragile walls of their temporary refuge. Dr. Ilara Voss stood near the center of the room, her eyes sharp and unyielding as they fixed on the figure before her, young member of the team whose usual composure had shattered under the weight of exposure. "We trusted you," Ilara said quietly but firmly, voice steady despite the turmoil gnawing at her chest. "Why? Why would you jeopardize everything we've worked for?" The accused swallowed hard, eyes darting around the room where several team members had gathered, tension crackling like static between them. "I thought I was protecting the mission," came the hesitant reply, laced with desperation. "There were things I couldn't tell you all. I thought if I handled it alone, I could keep us safe." Captain Rion Kessler stepped forward, his broad frame rigid and imposing. The scar across his left cheek seemed to darken in the dim light as he spoke, voice low and icy. "Safe. You endangered every one of us. We're out here on the edge of human endurance, battling a planet that doesn't forgive mistakes. Your secrets could have cost us our lives." Murmurs rippled through the group, eyes shifting uneasily between the betrayer and each other. The fragile tapestry of trust that had held them together now frayed at the edges, unraveling with each passing moment. In the adjacent engineering bay, Myra Thalon wrestled with a torrent of conflicting emotions. Her hands trembled as she carefully dismantled a fragment of alien technology, the soft clinking of metal the only sound amid the quiet storm raging in her mind. She had always thrived on discovery, on pushing boundaries, but now the reckless impulses that had driven her to experiment threatened to bring ruin. Was she to blame for the breach? Had her impatience invited disaster? The crystalline walls seemed to pulse ominously around her, shadows dancing across her grease-streaked face as she fought back tears of frustration and remorse. Somewhere deep inside, she knew the path forward demanded responsibility and restraint lessons she was only just beginning to learn. Back in the command center, Dr. Jonas Reeve adjusted his glasses nervously, the weight of his medical kit a comforting anchor in these turbulent moments. He glanced at Lena Ortiz, whose warm smile was strained but resolute. Despite the fractures, Lena's optimistic spirit still flickered like a beacon, a vital source of hope amid encroaching darkness. Ilara caught Lena's eye, and in that brief exchange, a silent vow passed between them. They would rebuild. They would find a way to mend the broken bonds, to steer the team through the storm of suspicion and fear. The mission depended on it. But Ilum was unforgiving. The betrayal was more than a personal wound, was a threat to their very survival. The ancient automated defenses had already begun to respond with increased aggression, triggered by the team's fractured focus and the breach in their ranks. Each moment lost to distrust was a moment gained by the planet's enigmatic forces. "We don't have the luxury of falling apart," Alara declared, voice rising with renewed determination. "If we cannot stand together, then everything we've uncovered, everything at stake here, will be lost. We must find strength in our unity, and when it feels impossible." Kessler nodded curtly, his usual stoicism tempered by a flicker of respect for Illyra's resolve. "I'm with you. We'll tighten security and watch each other's backs. No more secrets." Mira emerged from the shadows of the engineering bay, wiping her hands on a rag, eyes red but clear. "I'm sorry," she said simply. "No more risks without consensus." The team began to gather, forming a fragile circle of tentative trust. Each member felt the weight of their shared ordeal, the cold biting at their skin. The ancient planet watching silently through shifting crystalline shadows. The unknown dangers lurking just beyond the firelight. And yet, amid the fractures, a new resolve kindled. The betrayals revealed vulnerabilities, but they also illuminated the hard truth that survival on Ilum demanded more than scientific curiosity or military discipline. It demanded trust, sacrifice, and the courage to confront not only the planet's mysteries, but the shadows within themselves. As the night deepened, the frozen expanse outside whispered with ancient power. The Ilum enigma, unseen but palpably present, seemed to sense the shifting tides within the team. Its crystalline forms glimmered with a cold, unfathomable intelligence, watching, waiting for the moment when human resolve would falter. Alara stood by the frosted viewport, gaze fixed on the shimmering ice forests beyond. Her mind raced with plans and contingencies, but beneath the strategist's armor lay a simple, unyielding truth. They had come too far to turn back now. The price of failure was no longer just the loss of knowledge, it was the loss of themselves. The chapter closed on that silent vow, a promise to face the fractured loyalties and the planet's enigmatic fury together, or perish trying. But even as they prepared to move forward, the question lingered in the frozen air. Could fractured hearts truly forge the unbreakable bonds needed to survive Ilum's deadly embrace? The air was electric, thick with the metallic scent of ozone and the biting cold that seemed to seep into their very bones. Beneath the towering crystalline spires that stretched like frozen monoliths into the bleak sky, the team found themselves at the epicenter of the Ilum enigma's wrath. The ruins pulsated with an eerie, otherworldly light, casting long, trembling shadows that danced across the ice-streaked ground. Alara's breath came in short, visible gasps, her fingers deftly manipulating the alien device they had salvaged days before. Beside her, Myra's hands moved with frantic precision, adjusting wires and recalibrating sensors that hummed softly under her touch. "We don't have much time," Mira said, her voice taut with urgency. "These crystalline constructs there, adapting faster than we anticipated. If we can't disrupt their control grid soon, we're done for." Captain Rion Kessler's eyes scanned the perimeter relentlessly, his grip tightening on his weapon as the shifting crystalline forms advanced with predatory grace. These were no mere environmental hazards. The Ilum Enigma's defenses were alive in a way that defied logic, flowing and reforming like liquid glass. Their movements accompanied by a chilling, harmonic resonance that seemed to echo in the marrow of every team member's bones. "Positions," Kessler barked, voice cutting through the howling wind. "Hold the line, protect the scientists at all costs." The team moved with practiced coordination. Sasha Kim secured supply caches, while Eli Marks plotted escape routes through the shifting ice fields. Jonas Reeve moved quickly between team members, stabilizing injuries and monitoring vitals as the stress and cold took their toll. Lena Ortiz kept communications open, her voice a beacon of hope amid the storm of chaos. Ilara's eyes flicked between the glowing inscriptions on the device and the swirling crystalline forms outside. "There," she whispered, pointing to a cluster of alien symbols that pulsed in rhythm with the light patterns flooding the ruins. "If we can sync our device with these signals, we might be able to override their control matrix." Mira nodded, wiping grease from her brow. "It's our only shot. But if we fail..." "We won't," Ilara said firmly, though the tremor in her voice betrayed her fear. Outside, the crystalline defenders surged forward in waves, their forms refracting the dim light into dazzling, disorienting displays. Suddenly, one of the constructs shattered, fragments exploding like glass shards that cut through the cold air. Kessler's team seized the moment, pushing back with coordinated fire and precision strikes. The battle raged, a brutal ballet of light and ice, science and survival. Ilara and Mira worked feverishly, their hands moving in tandem as they bridged the ancient technology with their own devices. The alien inscriptions glowed brighter, the energy coalescing into a coherent signal that began to disrupt the crystalline construct's fluid forms. But the Ilum enigma was relentless. A sudden burst of energy erupted from the core of the ruins, sending shockwaves that cracked the surrounding ice, forcing the team to scramble for cover. Screams mingled with the howling wind as debris rained down, and Jonas moved swiftly to tend to the injured. "Retreat," Kessler ordered, his voice a beacon of command amid the chaos. "Fall back to the secondary perimeter." The team regrouped, battered but alive, behind barricades fashioned from broken crystalline shards. The eerie glow of the ruins dimmed, the once menacing light patterns flickering and dying down as the device's influence took hold. Exhausted breaths mingled with the crunch of ice beneath their boots. Ilara's gaze swept over her team faces etched with exhaustion, fear, and grim resolve. "We've stopped it, for now," she said quietly. "But this isn't the end. The enigma is still out there, waiting." Mira slumped against a fractured pillar, eyes bright despite the weariness. "We learned something today. We can fight back." Kessler wiped frost from his scarred cheek, nodding solemnly. "Together, that's the only way we survive this." As the first light of dawn broke over Ilum's frozen horizon, the survivors stood united amidst the shattered crystalline landscape, scarred, diminished but unbroken. The battle had exacted its price, but it had also forged an unyielding bond between them. The secrets of the ancient civilization lay partially unveiled, a treasure trove of mysteries still guarded by the enigmatic forces that had tested their limits. Ilara's journal entry that night read, "We stand at the threshold of understanding and destruction. The enigma is not merely a force to be conquered, but a warning of what lies beyond human recklessness and the cost of knowledge. Our fight is far from over." The team's resolve hardened, their path uncertain but their purpose clear. Ilum's icy grip was unyielding, but so was the human spirit that refused to be extinguished. And as shadows lengthened over the crystalline forests, the final stand marked not an end but the beginning of a new chapter in humanity's encounter with the unknown. The cold was relentless, gnawing through layers of insulated clothing and biting at exposed skin like a living thing. Around a small mound covered with the planet's shimmering ice crystals, Dr. Ilara Voss stood in silence. The pale light that filtered through the crystalline canopy above lent an ethereal glow to the scene, softening the harshness of the frozen landscape and the grave it now concealed. The air was still, save for the faint hiss of wind threading through the towering ice pillars, carrying with it the solemn weight of loss. Ilara's breath came in steady, visible puffs, each cloud a fleeting reminder of life in this unforgiving environment. Her eyes traced the delicate patterns of frost that adorned the crystalline surface, a fragile memorial for the teammate they had lost just days before. The name went unspoken, but the absence was a heavy presence among them all. Around her, the rest of the team moved with quiet purpose, their expressions etched with exhaustion and grief. The expedition had cost them dearly more than any of them had anticipated when they first set foot on Ilum. Captain Rion Kessler remained at the command tent, his broad frame hunched over the holographic mission logs. The tent's dim lighting cast long shadows across his scarred face, accentuating the deep lines of fatigue and sorrow that had begun to settle there. Outside, the wind howled like a living sentinel, rattling the thin fabric of the shelter and reminding him of the tenuous grasp they held on survival. His mind replayed the moments leading up to their losses, the decisions made under pressure, the split seconds where fate hung in the balance. Though stoic by nature, Kessler's eyes betrayed the burden of command. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him, heavier than the thickest armor. Each name lost was a wound that would never fully heal, each sacrifice etched into the very fabric of their mission. Yet, he knew they could not afford the luxury of despair. The knowledge they had uncovered beneath Ilum's ice was too critical, the implications too vast. They owed it to those who had fallen to see the expedition through. In the adjacent workshop, Mira Thalon sat hunched over a battered piece of alien technology. Her fingers moved deliberately, though a tremor betrayed her inner turmoil. The device emitted a soft, eerie hum, its crystalline components pulsing faintly with an energy that was both alien and mesmerizing. Each adjustment she made was a fragile dance with the unknown, a balance between unlocking secrets and risking catastrophic consequences. Her thoughts drifted to her lost comrade, the impulsive decisions, the reckless bravery, the price paid in lives. The memories were sharp and unyielding, yet they fueled her determination. Myra was no longer just an eager prodigy chasing discovery. She had become a guardian of knowledge, a protector of the fragile thread connecting past and future. The technology in her hands was a testament to the civilization that had once thrived beneath the ice, and to the sacrifices required to unearth its legacy. As evening settled over the frozen landscape, the remaining team gathered around a modest meal within the shelter of their base camp. The flickering firelight cast dancing shadows on frost-laden faces, illuminating eyes that bore the weight of experience and loss. The conversation was subdued, voices hushed yet rich with unspoken understanding. Stories of sacrifice intertwined with cautious hope, a fragile thread binding them together against the cold and the unknown. Dr. Jonas Reeve, ever the cautious voice of reason, monitored the team's physical and psychological states, his tall, thin form a steady presence amidst the swirling emotions. Lena Ortiz, the communications specialist, offered moments of levity, her warm smile and quick wit a balm against the relentless tension. Together, they formed a tapestry of resilience, each member a vital strand in the fabric of survival. In the midst of shared silence, Elara finally broke the quiet. "We carry their memory with us," she said softly, her voice steady despite the pain beneath. "Their sacrifices are not in vain. We must ensure that what we've learned here shapes the future responsibly." Kessler nodded, the stoicism of a soldier tempered by the empathy of a leader. "Ilum has tested us in every way imaginable, but we endure. We honor them by finishing what they started." Mira looked up from her workbench, determination rekindling in her eyes. "The secrets this planet holds, they're worth every risk. But we must be smarter, more careful. We owe that to the team, to ourselves." Outside, The crystalline ice forests shimmered under the faint glow of Ilum's distant stars, a silent witness to the trials and triumphs of humanity's reach into the unknown. The expedition was far from over, but the sacrifices made had forged a bond stronger than ice and colder than the void of space. As the fire crackled and the night deepened, the team prepared for the challenges ahead, their resolve steeled by loss and hope intertwined. In the frozen heart of Ilum, they had glimpsed the cost of discovery and the price of survival.